We are attending to such problems, so we know how to manage ourselves when such situations arrive. We are, we are going to assure the public that we are going to do an excellent job, no matter the condition that we are in now.
Again, in as much as you're working on only this session for now, the entire motorway has outlived its purpose. The lifespan of this motorway is something that one using it is, one can describe it barely as a death trap.
Motorway is not never a dive trap. You see, as human being grows, it's like a human being who is in the old age. There will be a lot of maintenance, and maintenance is a progressive thing. So all that we are telling the motorists is that when they are driving on the motorway, they should be extra careful, because it's not the motorway that we know. As time goes on, there will be some defects on the motorway, but that doesn't mean that it is a death trap. All that you have to do is that you have to be very careful. Those who are running on top speed should limit, because now the maximum speed that we have given is 100 km per hour. But sometimes you see a motor going as high as 160 kilometers. When it has something happen like that, you cannot avoid danger. So all I will tell the public is that motorway is still motorway, and we are praying that we are going to start the new work as the minister promised. But the motorway is a motorway, and they should be just careful when they are driving. Ghana Highway Authority is still making sure that they maintain it. After this bridge, I think they are going to do the potholes, all the potholes that are on this stretch. They are going to patch it. We cannot do it at the same time. Even this one, look at the traffic. So they should all bear in mind that motorway, yes, you can go at the speed, but they should always go by what they have access to go. That's the 100 kilometers per hour or less.
Talking about patching the motorway, that brings up an interesting conversation. The very last time this motorway was patched, or the potholes were patched, they used bitumen or coal tar on concrete. As an engineer and an expert, is that right?
You see, when you have to go by patching it with the concrete, it's like sometimes you have to close it for a while. Look at this hardship that people are going through. Not that we don't know that you have to patch it with concrete, but at the end of the day, when we have to go by this strictly, you have to close the motorway to patch it. So I think since it has exhausted its lifespan, you have to be doing just like maintenance, so at the end of the day, we can still use it until we get the new one.
Thank you very much, and we would only hope that the motorway is fixed within the time frame given. I have seen for my eyes, men are down there in the bridge trying their possible best to fix this particular bridge that had some form of defect, and they are trying as much as possible to finish within the 2 weeks duration they've given to the public, so that the inconvenience being created for the motoring public. You're going to finish this by
Monday.
So coming Monday you are finishing?
We open it by Monday evening. We open it for the traffic.
But that was not the. So you started yesterday?
2 weeks included. When we started the under bridge, we did some work at the down. That's the propping. Okay. That is 1 week, and this one is also 1 week. So the 2 weeks includes when we started the whole thing. So when we started the whole thing, today will be the 9th day. Oh. The 9th day.
Okay, so by Monday, this stretch will be open to public. That is some assurance we are getting from the engineer on site, telling us that by Monday, motorists and travelers who use this particular stretch, they should heap a sigh of relief. Roughly by Tuesday morning, when you are going to work, you should be able to drive on this particular stretch without going through the hassle you endured for the past few days. These are the professionals, the welders. You can see the light dropping, particles of light dropping into the water, and this is the under bridge. They are here ensuring that they weld the metals to the other ones down here and making sure that it gets stuck. We understand that roughly by tomorrow they are going to cast the top with concrete. So they are working day and night to ensure that they finish this work within the shortest possible time. The engineer actually gave us the assurance that hopefully by Tuesday, motorists and travelers who use the Tema Motorway would have some sort of relief from all this nauseating traffic they've endured for the past few days.
Right, nauseating traffic indeed. Well, so you tell yourself that you are going to work from Tema to Accra, and it takes you about 4 to 5 hours. If you were going to London, you'd be very close to landing. Now, somebody moving from Accra to Kumasi probably will be in Kumasi whilst you are still on your way to work. And so you saw City TV's Freduho trying to make sense, you know, of all the experiences that motorists have to go through on the Tema Motorway. This is how the situation was last night. Now, this morning, Fred is back to the sport, and he joins us on Breakfast Daily. Thank you very much, Fred. Welcome.
Thank you, Frema.
So where exactly are you this morning?
Frema, I am currently on the Tema-bound side of the traffic on the Accra-Tema Motorway. And as we speak, the traffic actually stretches for about 2 kilometers when we were coming. So at a point, we even have to alight from the vehicle and then make do with the motorbike to this particular point.
Right. So what
the
time?
traffic is quite heavy this morning.
What time did you set off? I don't know how it is like when you are going from Accra to Tema, but what time did you set off? What time did you get there? What have you observed so far?
Frema, we took off from the office at about 6:40 thereabouts, and we got here latest by 7:50. And when we got here, we saw that a number of police officers were here to actually help ease the congestion. So the traffic is actually building up, and one critical situation is that hawkers or those who are selling petty items are taking advantage of the situation, and then they are also cashing in on the traffic. So in as much as the situation is a bit discomforting for motorists, I can say that others are also finding some means to cash in on this particular situation here on the Accra-Tema Motorway.
Now, Fred, you said that the police were there to help ease the congestion. Exactly how are they going to be useful, considering that it seems like it's a straight road and everybody's just going to have to manage and stay in line? Exactly what's the police's job on the ground?
Good. Kweku, so the police officers here are about 15. And they are here in their numbers and they are in their reflector waistcoats, directing traffic, ensuring that everyone falls in line. And the fact is, there are other officers who are on motorbike actually monitoring the stretch to ensure that everyone is in line and following the traffic so that they won't cause any further congestion. And they are actually helping the traffic to flow in a certain direction. Now, as I speak with you, the Tema-bound side of the motorway or the traffic, it is dual carriage. But when you get where the construction is taking place, they've now partitioned that particular stretch into a single lane for those who are heading towards Tema. So in essence, if you are from Accra heading towards Tema, you get to the construction site, then the road becomes a single lane, just to allow for oncoming vehicles from Accra, from Tema heading towards Accra, to also share this particular stretch with other motorists that are supposed to be heading towards Tema. And when you are out of this particular construction site, I can tell you that the road is free for you to continue with your journey.
Now, Fred, if you compare what you observed last night and this morning, how would you rate the traffic situation this morning?
The traffic is moving in as much as it's moving at a slower pace. I can say that is a bit better compared to what we witnessed on Monday, knowing very well that a number of people were not privy to the news that was on Monday, and for that matter, they all just drove straight into this particular traffic, and it was a bit chaotic, if the description is right. But this morning, I can put on record that people are now making do with the other link routes. People are now making do with other the Tema community, the beach road, and other link routes. And for that matter, the traffic has reduced a bit on the main Tema motorway. But if you are heading towards Accra, you will still face the traffic, but it's much better compared to when they officially started on Monday. And we've just gotten to the construction site where workers are here. I was here in the night, trying as much as possible.
What time was that? What time
Hello, Frema.
Yes, what time were they working in the night?
Yesterday I got here at about, I started the journey at about 5 p.m. We got to the main construction site at about 7 p.m. So we're here 7:30, they were still here working. I went under the bridge to see men working under the bridge. Yes,
we saw that in the news. We saw your report, but when I was watching, one thing I noticed was the place was quite dark, you know, considering they were working in the night. What did you observe? What did you see in terms of brightness, in terms of having light to work with in the night?
They have floodlights made available with generators powering them, and the place was a bit bright, but for the fact that we were using camera, that wouldn't really paint a vivid picture for you. But the place, at least every focus point or session work was ongoing. I can say that they were seeing what they were doing, and the place looks a bit bright for them because there was these floodlights used yesterday at the construction site.
Now, you reported, I'm sorry, David, you reported that the road will be open on Tuesday. But as of this morning, we are also getting reports that the road will be open on Friday. Per what you saw, does it look practical that on Friday the road will be open for thoroughfare?
Yes, I was taken aback a bit when yesterday I was here. I saw the director from the Ministry of Roads. He didn't speak to us on record anyway, but we spoke to the engineer, and the engineer who actually is supervising the work gave us the assurance that this road will be opened on Tuesday morning. He actually made an emphatic statement that it will be open roughly by Monday evening. Then I presumed that Monday evening, in as much as it will be opened, the motoring public would have to make do with it on Tuesday morning, and he actually agreed to that. So let's officially hope that by Tuesday morning the road will be free for people to use. Construction would have been done officially, but the statement came out the moment I got to the office, and they are actually indicating that they are going to open the road by Friday, and that is something we would probably keep our fingers crossed as to whether to believe what the ministry is saying. They are the supervisory body actually doing this supervision on the site, and then the engineers wait for it, giving us the assurance that it's going to be open roughly by Tuesday morning.
Right. Now, Fred, I have to disagree with the engineer when he says that the motorway is not a death trap, because the definition of a death trap is any place or structure that can be potentially dangerous. Now, I wanted to find out from you that, do you know of any other places that have been marked out for this kind of work on the motorway to be done? After they are finished with this one, do you know of any other places that they want to go and deal with as well?
The engineer mentioned yesterday that we can't really describe the motorway as a death trap.
Which is not true, because a death trap is an English word.
Yes.
Well, he knows it's an English word, and he's also disputing.
Yeah, but the definition.
Well,
when you are driving on the motorway, I can show you, the camera can show you the ground right now, where you see bitumen used to patch certain portions of a concrete road. Okay, and this is a bumpy road for which I mean, when you are driving, you would have to be swerving and be driving like you are playing some kind of game on the computer. And it's quite funny when you are driving on this road. If you don't take time, you may veer off this road and even enter a ditch. But the engineer actually disagreed with me, saying that the potholes would be patched after this particular work they are doing here. They are hoping to patch the rest of the potholes on the road. So I asked him, are they still going to use the bitumen as they've done in the past? He said in the interim, that would be the measures they would adopt until the entire motorway is scraped off in its entirety and the road constructed into a 6-lane as has been promised by the government.
Now, Fred, for the benefit of those who probably might be joining us, could you still run us through why we are experiencing such huge traffic on the congestion on the Accra-Tema Motorway? When did the work start and where are we now?
Good, Frema. So the construction started officially on the Accra-Tema Motorway at a particular section. There is a bridge that is called, is it Planya or something like that, that according to the statement, over a river. For the very first time my whole life in this country, driving on this particular stretch, my first time hearing that this particular stream is a river, because it doesn't look like it. It's heavily polluted. This particular river that they are constructing the bridge on, you see it and assume it's just a huge drainage system, but that is not the case. So we understand there is some defect on the bridge for which work was supposed to be done on it in 2014, but a certain portion was done, leaving the rest, for which they have now come back to attend to it. Without repairing these defects, there could be some danger ahead for motorists. For that matter, they would have to now divert parts of the motorway, and the particular section that has been diverted is the Accra-bound side of the motorway. So if you are coming from Aflau all the way to Tema, heading straight to Accra, that side of the road at a certain portion has been blocked to traffic for ongoing construction works on this particular bridge. So there is a diversion, as you can see in your shot. There is this diversion. These are the people coming from Tema heading towards Accra, and they would now have to now be diverted at this particular section to now face oncoming vehicles heading towards Tema. So if you are from Accra going towards Tema, your road has actually been partitioned at a point, and there's the dual lane converted into a single lane, for which after that particular section of the construction works, the road is now free just ahead of you for you to progress to wherever you are going to.
Right. Now, Fred, you mentioned that when you were going, you had to stop at a point and continue your journey with an Okada. Now, you've also mentioned that we have some hawkers cashing in as well. Now, how is the Okada business thriving, you know, especially at this time?
Well, these are not people deliberately or intentionally trying to do Okada business on the stretch.
Okay.
They were just passerbys, and we have to hop onto their bike, and they allowed us. But one thing that is uncommon on this particular motorway, because you know the motorway, you would have to drive 100 kilometers per hour on the motorway. But due to the traffic, people are now taking advantage, and they are trying to cash in on the motorway. Some of the drivers and passengers are complaining that when they get to a particular section of the road, the police actually arrest them for using the shoulders of the road. I am trying as much as possible so we can speak to some of the hawkers, those who have taken advantage of the traffic situation and trying to cash in on the situation. We are trying to see if we can get some of them to speak to us on this issue. Hello, Mommy. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Well, why are you here with your egg?
I'm here because of the traffic. Yeah, this is my station. Now I do sell the but since Monday, because of the traffic, I decided to come here.
But why will you leave your main station and come to a motorway like
The
this?
traffic is too much, and they do buy here too than the station.
So how much sale have you made this morning?
Oh, oh, I came here not all that long, like 1 hour ago. Yeah.
So how is business going?
Oh, it's cool. It's cool.
Comparatively, selling here and at the station, which of them is moving for you first?
Oh, here is not a temporary place. Yeah. So my station is a temporary. Here there is just some seconds selling. Okay. Yeah.
So at every split second, you are trying to make sales.
To come here, leave my station to come and market here small.
Well, so those are some hawkers. I mean, we've gotten one that we've spoken to, and people are also trying to buy in the traffic. People have been in this traffic for quite a long time, and they are complaining. Hello, driver. Would you want to talk to me? Good morning. How are you?
Fine.
For how long have you been in the traffic?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
From where to where?
From Aziwait.
Oh, okay.
Aziwait.
All right. So that is a driver also telling us that he's been in the traffic from the Azure weighing point just ahead, about some 500 meters away from this place for the past 30 minutes. Something that could have taken him less than 10 to 15 minutes ordinarily to cover. So essentially, the traffic is moving. We are now on the Accra-bound side of the traffic, and it's moving gradually.
But Fred, it seems to me, especially from what this driver you spoke to just said. Yeah, okay, go talk to him.
A driver want to cut us in, so let's speak to him. Welcome to CCTV, sir.
I'm Isaac, sir. Tell our people to do this road for us. This road, they will do it well for us. They should create the road top for us. That shadow road. They should create the road for us. They should create that road for us.
So that is a driver also suggesting that other access roads or link roads to the motorway should also be, at least they should be graded so that you make it motorable for them to use while work is ongoing on the motorway. Kweku.
Fred, yeah, now I was going to say that it seems to me that in the last 24 hours or so, the traffic situation has improved considerably, considering what the gentleman just said, about 500 meters distance, that's when the traffic actually began. And, from 500 meters back from where we are looking, that's where the traffic began from. Considering the reports we got on Monday, it seems that the traffic has considerably improved.
That is true, because the announcement has now gone far and wide, and people coming to Accra and to make use of the motorway are now well aware that they would have to look for other alternative routes, just because the announcement from the ministry and that of the contractors has gone far because of the media's intervention. At least they've been able to hear the announcement that they would have to make do with other alternative routes. And for that matter, the number of vehicles that would have applied this particular stretch has reduced drastically. And that is why we can say that the vehicles are moving inch by inch towards the construction site. And just after the construction site, the road is free all the way to Accra for them to go to their destination, especially within Accra.
Now, Fred, you have been there during rush hours, in the evening and in the morning as well. People who use the motorway, what would be your advice to them? I mean, if they have to apply that route, what can you tell them now?
The very first one would be that if the motorway is the only alternative route for you, or the only option for you to use to or from Accra, it will be better for you to join the queue. Be in the queue and you get to the destination, I mean the particular section of the road where the construction is ongoing. And just after that particular section, the road is free for you to move at 100 kilometers per hour. Aside that, if you have any other alternative routes, like we keep announcing on radio and on TV, if you hear all this announcement, just make do with the Teshi Beach Road, because I understand there is a spillover onto those sections of the roads or onto those linked roads. For that matter, that place is also gradually getting congested. Yesterday, for instance, someone heard the announcement and felt he could make do with the link road, which is the beach road, and he happened to rather use about 5 to 6 hours in traffic before getting to the office, and the person felt that was quite a discomforting situation, for which he felt that if he would use any other road, it would be the motorway, but he would decide to be within the lane or in the line where he won't rather use the shoulders of the road. If you use the shoulders of the road, I can assure you one thing, that the police officers are just monitoring, and they will stop you and further delay you, and where you are going to, thinking that you want to play smart, you would rather be caught up in the grips of the law, and the police are going to detain you here for a longer period. Your ration would have ended at a particular stop for hours, and you will be begging, and you may end up rather being prosecuted for attempting to use the shoulders of the road.
Right, thank you very much, Fred.
We really appreciate your time. Thank you. All right, so
this is it.
Yeah. So we actually have a message, a comment. Somebody on Facebook says here, on Monday morning, I had no idea such a construction was going on until I got to the Tema toll booth. Now I had to call home, so some few personal belongings are brought to me. I'm now living with a friend closer to work until the work is completed. Ghana, let's wake up, because motorway is an international road. And I think this basically, I understand his sentiments, but I also think that what it speaks to is our PR, the proper way to alert people, communicate, 2 weeks in advance. Just say that this date we are coming to start the work, because they knew they had to find money, they had to make sure that, and equipment, everything was ready, before they go and start the work. So with that in mind, PR should have started coming out to say...
Besides, even if you didn't have 2 weeks, even if you didn't have a week, a day or two before the work began. I mean, this is kind of statement that if you release, every media house will pick it up, and announce to people, because somebody is either watching TV or it's on social media, on radio or something, so people would know. If you mean to communicate to people, you find the ways to do that, and I think that is very important. Now, we want renovations to happen and all. We know that we have to be prepared to go through some of these challenges, but also give us ample time to equally prepare ourselves, psych ourselves. If somebody is, for instance, attending to an emergency, and then you get there and you realize that you have to be in there for 3 hours, for 4 hours, then what's the point? So I think that is very important.
The motorway, there's no way to turn. You can't.
No, once you get locked up, that is it. And I'm really hoping that whether it is on Friday or on Tuesday, we shouldn't go beyond this period, because the motorway is a very busy road, and many people depend on that. So it's really going to affect a lot of things if this kind of renovation work stretches beyond time. Anyway, this is the Breakfast Daily Show. We'll be right back.